Another interesting thing that we can do with the energy model in Revit is actually combine massing and building elements. Let's take a look at what I mean by that. We're going to open up our model that we created in the previous video, and I've already superimposed some curtain walls and some sunshades on this building. And then on the east side, I've also masked a Revit wall and then hosted some punched openings to that east wall. So we're going to create the energy model, but we'll notice there's a little problem on the roof that we'll take a look at how to deal with. Let's take a look at some of the energy settings in the energy setting dialog. So the roof on the curve was poking out in a precarious way. So we're going to adjust the analytical resolution, and then we're going to delete the energy model and recreate it. So anytime you change something in Revit, you have to manually delete and recreate the energy model. So we're going to turn off the model categories, and we'll look at the analytical categories. You'll notice the sunshades don't show up. Insight only looks at these categories. For example, the generic model category is ignored because there's too much stuff in that category. Could be toilet paper dispensers and paper towel dispensers, things that shouldn't be considered in an energy model. So here we can actually see the energy model before we push it out to Insight. Notice, by the way, a very important aspect of ASHRAE 90.1 Appendix G requirement is that the model is thermally zoned with a 15-foot perimeter broken up by sides of building that have different orientations. Also, I'm selecting some of the analytical surfaces here, and you'll see one is referred to as a fixed window versus another being referred to as operable. In terms of how Insight works with those, it's all the same. It's really just a difference of the curtain wall element versus a window element in Revit. So now we have this new run, and we're going to apply this net zero scenario to all of the runs. You can see all of them are quickly recalculated. And then we'll open this project. And what's really interesting is now when we go to the window to wall ratio, the BIM setting is going to be based on not what we entered in the energy settings dialog box, but what's actually modeled in the project. But even still, we can adjust the input here analytically just to see what it might do to the EUI if we added a little more glass on the south side or the north side of the building, for example. Notice that each widget, the window to wall ratio, is broken up by northeast, southwest. So in this case, we're going to dial in each input to the BIM setting now that we've actually modeled something. So like I said before, the inputs don't matter until they matter. Well, now that we've modeled something, now it arguably matters. So we should make Insight align with the BIM setting.